Well, I came to Australia when I was about 22, 23, and I think it had a huge influence on me as a gardener and a garden designer, really. I remember working in residential gardens quite a lot, and there was a much more contemporary edge, and it was all about using the space as well. Being outdoors, around the pool, with the barbecue, sitting out in the evenings and all that. It got me thinking in a very forward manner when I went back to the UK. When I got back to the UK after gardening in Australia, I was still working for other designers. I was still working as a landscaper. But as soon as I started designing, I went to garden design college. There was a whole movement really about contemporary city gardens, and I'd worked in Sydney and Melbourne, and I think that those influences became quite apparent in my design work. It was clean lines, clean edges, using materials like decking. You know, decking we didn't use in the UK, but in the old days it was always stone or brick or whatever. So Common, what's the inspiration behind this garden?
Well, we're trying to sort of encourage the UK gardening public to visit Melbourne, Victoria, come to the Australian Garden of Cranbourne, but also to explore beyond and get out to regional Victoria and out even to the Northern Territory. The story of the Rainbow Serpent, which is a Dreamtime Aboriginal story, and it's all about the presence of water in the landscape. So the Rainbow Serpent lived under the ground, created the mountain ridges and the rocky seams and the gullies, but also when it's angry, it stirs up and creates thunder, lightning, storms, rain. So we're trying to incorporate a Twitter hashtag so that people can actually make the water in the billabong we're going to have agitate to symbolise this rainbow serpent story. You know, the rainbow serpent moving. You know.
Wow! I think here at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Cranbourne, I think there's lots of ideas that I could take away from here and use in designs. I mean, the use of hard landscaping, the rusty steel, and the different paving materials, and how it all connects. But the real overriding sense is that feeling of proportion and balance between the landscaping and the space between the plants. There's been a real sort of legacy of Australian show gardens in the UK at Chelsea, Hampton Court, and throughout other shows as well. But I just think that they stand out. They're very different from British gardens. The Australian gardens, they seem to be pioneering, like the Australian people are. And they're not looking backwards, they're always looking forwards. And also the landscape in Australia is so mixed and so varied that a designer has to distill that into a garden design and use the native plants and native materials, and they have a very distinct quality.